I'm Brody Parrish Craig. I use they, them pronouns. I am a poet and community art space maker. And I've been practicing, it's hard to say how long I've been practicing art. I first started writing consistently when I was like 12 years old, and I've had some form of practice as an artist ever since. For my personal writing as a poet, I think I started writing poems really for catharsis or for processing. And then over time it became something bigger where I really see creative writing as a whole as a way to connect with people, how to connect, unlearn, and create change and other narratives, and also document lived experiences. And so a lot of my work as an artist today and as a poet moves past publishing, specifically to create community spaces and have workshop spaces and spaces for other folks in the LGBTQ community to also create, and having a space that's safe for us to, or safer for us to make art together and share our experiences with each other and with the world. And so right now we are working on a community workshop series that is involving, my husband and I have been leading a community workshop series on Trans Joy Is, and that specific workshop series, we get folks together. We already had 5 or 6 workshops, and we had different trans people come together and make work in creative writing and visual art together. And we're working on a larger piece from that is a secret right now. And then we want to be able to pave the way forward for whatever future programs we do from there. And so this is an investment for us being able to keep TWANG moving forward in whatever future fruitions come. I have 2 books that have come out. Boyish, which is a collection of poetry specifically thinking about queer spirituality and what it means to unpack the religious trauma of being Southern Baptist and coming into my own identity as a trans Southern person in my own spirituality later in life. And then my recent book that just came out is The Patient as an Unreliable Historian, which discusses madness, criminality, and abolition and disability justice. So my work, I would say, is challenging a lot of times when it comes to my individual writing. And then thinking about my community work, I really want to make spaces that are free and accessible for folks. It's important to me that if I'm creating a space, that everyone has the chance to participate and make art together in a way that is accessible to everyone. And I understand, as artists, right, we can struggle to be able to do that, right, because there's only so much money that we can have access to. And I understand why people need, workshop fees and tickets and all these things. But for me, when I'm doing work in the community, thinking about creative writing, I'm really trying to make spaces that anyone can come in and create. I feel very blessed to have the experience that I have and be able to give that back to folks in Arkansas. I think one thing that I wish folks in Arkansas knew, or that I knew about my former self, is when I was growing up in Louisiana, I thought that people like me couldn't be in the South. And so I left Louisiana to get a degree in creative writing. And then what brought me back to Arkansas over 10 years ago now was getting a Master of Fine Arts at University of Arkansas. And coming back to this community, I learned very quickly that people like me can live in the South, and in fact are all throughout the South. And so I think the thing that I want folks to know, and also that why I'm so passionate about putting my work into the world and also working with others, is combating the erasure that trans and queer Arkansans face, not just in the arts, but in our state. And I think that's something that I wish everyone could realize, is how many talented queer and trans artists exist in Arkansas and throughout our region, and how vital we are to this part of our country. The people I meet in workshops, the people I meet in community, my students, for sure. I'm very blessed to teach at a community college, and I feel like the people that I interact with every day really keep me going and keep me inspired. I think growing up, I very much started writing as an isolated practice, and I thought poetry was something I did behind closed doors in my notebook and tucked away and never shared with people. And the longer that I've let myself share my work, but also collaborated with others, or found ways to be in community and write at the same time, that's really what fuels me, is finding those connections and being able to share space with others. I received the Fellowship for Community Engagement Arts, specifically for the work that I've done in the LGBTQ community for creative arts programming. And it's very important to me that anytime that I'm running a program, that it's free, that it's accessible to anyone, and that if we're working on a collaborative project, such as an anthology or a piece of community artwork, that anyone that comes and contributes to that space is receiving an honorarium or paid for their time or for their art contribution. And a lot of times that means that it's really hard to also take care of myself, right? And so when I think about this award, it really gives me the ability to keep doing that, right? To really prioritize those free community spaces for everyone and not have to charge an entry fee, or to be able to share back with my community when they show up and want to participate, and to continue to move these rewards forward. I feel really blessed and humbled when I receive honors like this in Arkansas. And my personal goal is to always give it back any way I can, and awards like this help me be able to do that and pay that forward to the next person that comes up.
My name is Vera Marie Poister. I am a visual artist, a teacher, and an advocate for the arts in Arkansas. I fell in love with pastel when my kids were young. The colors just sucked me right in, and I love making all kinds of marks. And sometimes I would like to make a mark and see what kind of story I could tell with it. So I love lots and lots of layers. About 5 years ago, I started a series of portraits called Beyond Labels. I asked friends, and sometimes complete strangers, people I just met at a restaurant or something, and I would say, come to my studio and show me who you are and tell me how you're labeled. These portraits aim to illustrate the selectivity that we choose in which layers of ourselves we show to others and which ones we hold back. I was so excited when 28 of these portraits got to travel to El Dorado, to Pine Bluff, and to Fort Smith. So I wanted the visitor not to be bored. I created one area that said, join the conversation, where the visitor could write for me how they were labeled. Another area was set up to pose as if the visitor was part of the project. And my most favorite area was where the visitor could sit in front of a mirror and do a contour drawing of themselves, because I wanted them to experience what it was like to draw. Now, of course, I wanted inclusivity, so all the panels were provided in Spanish and English. People often ask me, what is the favorite thing about my job? And I say teaching. I develop therapeutic art programs for people in our community to use art in times of loss and grief. Thank you so much to the Arkansas Arts Council and to the Wingate Foundation for this community engagement grant. These funds allowed me more time in our community teaching.
Well, my name is Alvin Lopez. My stage name is Papa Rap, P-A-P-A-R-A-P. And about to reinvent myself as Grampy Rap, because I've been at this for, I want to say like 40 years. Started in Puerto Rico, and then all in Spanish. What I do is I'm a musician, and I write rap. So in Puerto Rico it was Spanish raps, because no need for English there, with a message, and then I went into, when I got here, I started to do the same thing, but noticing about the growth in our area and the demographic changes, and like people not really trying to connect, but not knowing how. So I started to write bilingual rap, English and Spanish. And then that was pretty cool in the way of my first bilingual rap that I wrote was What's Up, Que Pasa song. And that won the first place at an international level in the John Lennon Songwriting Contest. And to tell you the truth, I was just visiting the area and decided just because of that to stay here, because I never would have written a bilingual song in Puerto Rico. So that was like my big first win, and to acknowledge that I was, that I was a songwriter, because I had my doubts. Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, so what I do is music. I use my Afro-Caribbean roots, because Puerto Ricans, we're Taino Indians, we're Spaniards, and we're Africans. So my music a lot has to do like with salsa, merengue, all of bachata, all those Afro-Caribbean rhythms that we have. and then I mix that with bilingual, English and Spanish lyrics, and then it's like it's fun and educational sometimes. So I like to call it edutainment, and just watch people dance to my music till this day still makes me like, I can't believe it. So they see me smiling on stage, but I'm really smiling like, oh my God, they really like, I mean, that's what we get, I feel, as artists, is that acknowledgement of people. And they don't even have to tell you, it's like rhythm is going to get you. And there you are. Maybe people that don't get along, but you got them dancing together. So I don't know, it's just a good feeling in the way of seeing people happy. The reason I do my Puerto Rican roots, well, I want to say more that using it in Arkansas, because I came here in '94 and there was a big challenge for a miscommunication, and suddenly there's no Latinos, and suddenly, boom, here we are in big numbers, and there was people not connecting, so I started to use more of my music as a Puerto Rican, saying Puerto Rican, because they say, well, oh, he's going to speak in Spanish. I say, well, I want to speak in Spanish and English, but remember, we're Puerto Rican. We're part of the United States. So using it that way, in the way of saying, I'm part of you, we're all together in this. So my music, I choose to use it to give you a little bit of a taste of people arriving here, and what I love to call the New Arkansans. And I say, and how they can add, not like, oh, they're bringing their culture, add their culture to the culture we have here, and then start making unique things, because music is a really great way to connect with people without seeming threatening, like music and food. So all that Caribbean sound, it just grabs you, and people, wow, why is it? Well, because it's your heart. That's our first drum that we have. Think about it. Every culture has a drum culture. So for me, that was like the first instrument, and really, it's a common ground. So for us to go and do music, it's one thing for us to go and do music, but also bring 20 drums and allow people to get on stage with us and play drums with us and suddenly become part of the band. That is just, it changes lives. But it's an amazing thing to be able to be on stage or be in a place where you're adding people to come in and join you. First of all, telling them we all have that ability to create. I like to go on the floor from the stage, and when the kids are leaving, like go down, so I'm at their height, and they're like, oh my God, like they can't believe, that they're talking to the artist or he's saying hi. As long as I don't tell them my age or the car I drive, then I'm cool. But it's a really, really good feeling to be able to do what I do, and to be able to do it in Arkansas has been special, because from Arkansas, we have taken it to other places. I've played in Mexico. Amazing thing. I played in Chicago. I've done things in California. So in Puerto Rico, in my own country, that, it was really hard for me down there just trying to compete and doing things. And suddenly I have something that people wanted. So I will always be grateful to Arkansas in the way of inspiring me, the communities inspiring me to do what I do. Music is something that you can take to them and then start building a bridge without them even realizing. Oh, I like this guy, or, oh, I like his music, or, I have kids that now are men that, my first song, What's Up, Que Pasa? And 30 years later, hey, you're the Que Pasa guy. And I said, oh my God, you remember.
This is Papa Rap, and today we're gonna do the Que Pasa song. Que
Because I'm a songwriter, so sure I write kids music and for families, but I also write good, like songs for grown-up. I've decided with the years, because I'm about to be 70 years old. So with the years that I have left, what do I want to do with my art? And what I want to do is just go out here and share it, and then maybe that legacy, maybe other people will continue. So that's why the fellowship for me was a way telling me, keep on doing what you're doing. Keep on bringing people together through music, and don't even think about it. Don't be preachy about it. Just rhythm is gonna get. I don't know what we would do, without your organization. I hear about, cuts here and cuts there, but this would be well, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to win right now because, for me, I feel that the smart starts with the arts. La inteligencia con el arte comienza. And it's a great way to continue to bring the community together as one through the arts. I'm biased too, because, but las artes. Yeah. People don't realize sometimes, like who's taking care of the musicians, who's taking care of the artists. People don't think about, they see you as, oh my God, they must be like, and they don't know that we're struggling. And for me, that's an acknowledgement of saying, we care about you, we care about you, and we're going to acknowledge you. And it just, it gives me it comes, I say, for me, God's timing is perfect. So maybe I'm a little down and maybe I'm a little out. And maybe I say, man, I don't know if I'm going to continue. And boom, here comes something that tells you, yeah, you better keep on going. We love you. People want to hear you. And so it gives you new strength and you just feel really, really good. For that one, I did want to let people know, not only because they had given it to me, but also like in the Latino and Marshallese community, how they can do the same. Do your thing. The ballets, the mariachis, beautiful that you're playing for the Latinos or the Mexican people, but go to the other people and play your mariachi music, like encouraging, not almost like my job is always, for me, I feel, to make sure that I let artists in our area know, the new Arkansas artists that are coming from Puerto Rico, from Mexico, from El Salvador, from Cuba, from Marshall Islands. I mean, from India. We have a bunch of people now from the India here, to let them know how there's an organization out there that you can reach out to and find ways that they can find ways of connecting you and helping you, and I really love that, the recognition and the prize that I got. But regardless, I love what you guys do in the way of reaching out and really trying to find ways of connecting with